Hello folks, I'm out here on my jog. I was just thinking, oh, there goes the tram full of tourists. Let's wave to the tourists, see if any wave back. They don't see me. I'm just a jogger on the street outside the Johnson Space Center. There they go, off to see the Saturn V rocket pad, building 31. Those rockets there off in the distance. Today I was thinking, is the space shuttle a jet? Is it a jet? Do we know if it's a jet? Well, let's look at it. Alright, now, do you see there's 3 rockets on top of that airplane? There's 3 rockets, the little triangle on the bottom, the 3 silver ring thing. Now, what are those 2 large protrusions here and here? What are those 2 large? Could they be jet engines? I don't know. They've never had any explanation for those, why they're there, what they're doing, and I frankly want to know, because some things don't make sense. And here we are, we're looking right at the back of the space shuttle. Look at all these people. There's the trams. People are going to tour NASA. They go in, they have all these people lined up. You can see people standing in line. We're at the Space Center Museum in Houston. And here we go. There's where you end up. You can climb that tower. Now I'm going to tell you something. This actual replica here, my stepfather told me he's actually a NASA scientist, rocket scientist, and worked there for 40-something years. This is actually on display at the Houston Johnson Space Center. Not an actual space shuttle, space jet. This is a replica. This replica, man, that car went by pretty fast. This is a replica. This is not even any one of the 5 mentioned in Francis Bacon, who was also William Shakespeare, in his a Columbian enterprise to endeavor for the discovery of Atlantis and all challengers be destroyed. Look up that sentence on the internet. But this vehicle is actually not one of those. This is a completely made up prop that was sent to Houston for this museum. But this vehicle, according to my stepdad, who's actually a NASA scientist and worked at this Space Center in Houston almost his entire life and career, told me, I didn't know before he told me, this is not one of the real jets. This is completely a made-up prop that was sent to Houston for the museum. So it was flown here. This is not Columbia, it's not Endeavor, it's not Discovery, it's not Enterprise, it's not Challenger. It's a completely made-up prop. Now look at those 2 bumps on the upper side. Let me put my finger in there. Where's my finger? Right there. See it, the rudder? There's the rudder. See this? The whole body juts out there, that white painted bump on both sides. If you had this thing go 17,500 miles an hour by the end of the rocket launch, when it's going horizontal over the plane, it's going 17,500 miles an hour. That's why it does need those heat shields and the tiles and the technology, because it's a supersonic jet for sure. Although this one is just a prop. This is not actually any space shuttle that you've ever seen land with jet engines. But the design, if you even look at the paint there above those jet engines there, look at that. That looks like a Rolls-Royce engine or a Lockheed motor, or, some kind of jet engine. There's no intake. If you look on the actual footage of the space shuttle's landing at the Kennedy Space Center out in California, you will see that the space shuttle on the side of it, that's the Saturn V rocket. But that's the rocket that Wernher von Braun, the person that reported to Hitler that was the Nazi V2 rocket designer, who was brought over here to design this rocket under Operation Paperclip. Look up Operation Paperclip. All right, there's what they call the NASA meatball. That's the logo with the red forked tongue. That was my neighbor. That's my neighbor, Larry. He worked at NASA. That's the guy who designed the scuba suits for the female astronaut. He had to order the short arms that couldn't fit the lady, and she was one of those that went up into the space station, and her arms were so short they called her T-Rex. And he's the one that ordered the parts for her spacesuit. And he said, you know, he knows that they went to space because he ordered the parts for the spacesuit. I said, did you see her get in the rocket? Did you actually follow her to space? He gets pissed off. We get along, but we can't talk about certain topics. Hey, look at this meatball. There's the forked tongue. Why doesn't anyone look at the side of this building and say, that's the side of a snake's tongue? On the NASA people call it the vector. It's the vector over the meatball. That whole blue brown thing they call the meatball. And so this, if you look on the side, look up any video of the space shuttle landing at Kennedy Airport, Kennedy Space Center, on runway 11, 22, or 33. All the Masonic master numbers, by the way. Look right here in front of those jet engines on the body, right above the print there where the NASA logo is, near the tail. There's no intake, but if you look when they land in California, there's always a hole there for the intake of air to go through the jets so that it can land. So I just wanted to show you that, folks. Out here on my stroll, and we're having fun. And peace out. Is the space shuttle a jet? Of course it was. Did we go to the moon? No. Can you dock in space with no vacuum, in a vacuum and a void with no elements, and retro rockets? A vehicle like that with a space station? No. Going 17,500 miles an hour and find it in space and then dock with it? I mean, try to back up a semi-truck to a dock at a business, okay? That's hard enough. But they talk about docking that with a traveling space station, okay? Where there's gravity, and it doesn't exist. It's a balloon. If anything's up there that we're tracking, it's a balloon. Or it's jets, or it's some other... We don't know how all the fakery works, people, but that's how they do it. So, there you go. Look, on the side, look at the paint. Look at the white paint. You see no black intakes, but every single video of it landing in California, you'll see that opened up so that it can take in oxygen, and you'll know. All right, I'm Alex Aquarius, over and out. Peace.